written, and I'm going to share some of the notes from the book, is really about your different seasons in your career. So whether you're looking for a job, you've landed in that job, and now it's time when someone says, you know what, it's time for us to do something different. I think it's time to kind of move on. Whether you decide that, life decides that, or your leader or someone from up high decides that. That's called moving on to your next. And then, by the way, it's like a bonus chapter at the end that says when life happens, because life happens. Life happens, whether it can be a loss in your family, whether it can be a sickness that you have, whether it can be a divorce, whether it can be, I decide I just want to go home and raise my children. Life happens. So that's the piece. It's a quick 56-page guide with tips, because everyone's busy. And believe it or not, I want to write the book, but I don't like to read a lot. So imagine that. I like to skim. I liked, blogs are the new thing now. I read when I was in college and grad school and all that other stuff, but I like quick reads, and I think people need something quick. So I said I wanted to design something that would allow you to read on a train, a plane, an automobile, no, not an automobile, unless you're riding, but on a bus or something like that. So really, that's what the book is. Every day, pray for wisdom. I say that. I drive to work every day, and literally, it's going through my mind. I look at my BlackBerry when I get up in the mornings, and I know what meetings are in front of me, and I literally say, all right, I've got to get strength. Help me to know what I need for this meeting, for that meeting, for this meeting. Everything depends on relationships. Everything is a relationship. Everyone is connected to everyone in some shape, form, or fashion. I walk into some meetings and I go in and go, oh my gosh, I didn't know this person was going to be here. And then you realize you don't know that person is connected to this person and that person is connected to this person. No matter how big the organization is, some person can fly in from somewhere and you don't even know. You're like, okay, did I send that email to so-and-so and so-and-so? So really, you have to be strategic in everything that you do. In everything that you do. I look up sometimes and I'm gonna go, well, what happened to that person? And it's like crickets. No one wants to say. Then you find out 3 or 4 months down the line that it was just like some type of slip where they didn't strategically navigate their way through. How could be, it's usually something that's in your purview. It's something that you've been exposed to over the past 4 or 5 months and kind of sparked your interest. So, and I'll use myself as an example. I was placed on an assignment in operations that made me go, wow, I hadn't been exposed to, IS and facilities and this group and that group, before. So I want to learn more about how these groups interact. And long story short, now I'm on a task force where we're looking to do some redesign. So for the past 14, 15 months, I've been on a huge task force that we meet once a week. And that is just huge for me because I'm really into operations for a pretty large size company. And that's a different skill set that I didn't have before. So, and it was just being exposed to attending one meeting. So those are the kind of things you want to begin to look at and say, what am I being exposed to that really piques my interest? So it's those type things that I think, and it might be something within your department, because I know around performance time, sometimes people will ask, and if they don't ask, you bring it to their attention, and we'll just use HR as an example. If you have a background in OD, if you have a background in comp, now do you want to learn more about HRIS? Do you want to learn more? What is your ultimate goal? Is your ultimate goal to run an HR department? So how do you need to round yourself out to do that? How do you need to expose yourself? What projects do you need to be on? Do you need to learn more about talent acquisition? Do you need to learn more about benefits? Do you need to know more about, and then if so, how do you plant yourself with the right people around that? What is a project coming up? Open enrollment is coming up. can you play a part in that? You know what I mean? So you're gonna have to really strategically start thinking about, where do I ultimately want to go, or where do I want to be next year? And I think that will help you get to that. I will say this, you know, when you've decided to leave and you've kind of separated and you've gone on, really think about your self-worth, because you can get to a point where you just really start feeling depleted. So really take about 15, 20 minutes a day and really just look back on all you've accomplished, regardless of whether you've been in a job 6 months or, you know, 15, 20 years. Say, wow, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. Because you will get to a point where it's like, man, this is a heavy lift, and I am just feeling emotionally, physically, mentally drained. So you owe that to yourself to sit and go, okay, I need to do this. Especially when you're out there and you're trying to move on to your next, and you're getting either some pushback or some rejection. You're gonna have to take that time and meditate with yourself and understand, because no one knows your value except you. No one knows your real value except you. You can put it on paper, but even in a resume, it doesn't show your true value. So you're gonna have to get with yourself and understand what that is.